Hello, people. Another beautiful day. Yeah. Hope your five senses work. Health and strength is good or excellent. What? What's up, gamers? Look, your love for video game, your love for video games have run cold. Modern gaming is not boring. It's not tiresome. You modern games are the best. Older games are not better than modern games. Modern games are better because there's more that you can do in a modern open world game versus older games. With older games, you are limited. With modern games now, you are you can do a lot more. Like for instance, the Spider-Man on the PS4 was actually better than the Spider-Man that Insomniac Games did with Miles Morales and Spider-Man Remasters and Miles Morales. Those games were better than those Spider-Man games were better than the ones that Activision did because there was a lot more you can do, and plus there was more freedom. Now, what you could do with those Spider-Man games, okay, like say let's take say Shattered Dimension gameplay mechanics. You take that and then add that to like say Miles Morales and say Spider-Man Remaster. You know what I'm saying? It'll make the game a whole lot even better because of the stuff you can do. So, with that being stated, open world games are the best. People try to say people love for video games has run cold because one, they never keep up with the times, or they never change with the times. They weren't reading up on the like the articles and that happen, the articles that's being printed about video games. They don't complete their games. They can't. They were stuck. They were thinking that older games were better, but what they don't know is that modern games are better. So they're like stuck in quicksand, and they can't. They're behind, and they can't keep up. So modern games, modern open world games are better because there's a lot more you can do. There's a lot of play mechanics that you can add. You have more freedom of movement. You don't have that in an older game. In an older game, you're limited. So modern open world games are better. Ask the Call of Duty Warzone players. They'll tell you. Ask them, would you go would you go from Call of Duty Warzone and go back and go play, say, the first Medal of Honor? They'll look at you like you crazy, like they'll laugh you off the internet. Ask the Fortnite players. They'll tell you that modern games are the best because of the freedom of movement they have and the things they can do in that game. Okay? Ask the DC Universe players if modern games are boring, or if modern games aren't the best. They'll tell you. They'll tell you that modern games are the best. Ask the World of Warcraft players. Modern games are the best. So, and plus there's a lot more you can do, and there's a lot more mechanics that you can add to the games. So, older games are never better. The people that that try to say older games are better, they are stuck in quicksand. They never keep up with the times. They never do they don't read up on stuff, so they don't know what they can't enjoy an open world game. So the only thing they can do is tear down and then try to create like controversy online, like to make it seem like they're right. Now, take me for instance. I have forgiven EA but I understood the mistake they made, because once they got the rights to Star Wars, it's just like the EA license. So they they made one key mistake by putting loot box into Star Wars, and then the fans picked up on it, but then Disney stepped in and took it away from them. Anthem just needs some expansion and some updates. When it comes to Insomniac Games, the Avengers need to be more open world, because you were limited. The Avengers is not an open world game, and you were limited in what you can do. So the game needs some updates. It needs some expansions, because it's not open. It's not an open world game by open world standards, because DC Universe set the standard, like by saying, like, okay, if you're gonna make a superhero game, it needs to be in this format. Okay, so and a superhero game can be superhero games can be MMO, because because there's so many superheroes that you can put in a game. So that could be a live service, that could be an MMO if they want to. But other than that, man, but it has to be open world. But modern games is not boring, it's not stale, it's not modern open world games. You're not limited in what you can. You're not limited in what you can do. In an older game, you were limited. Your freedom of movement was being obstructed. Your play mechanics, you were limited in what you can do. So, but today's open world games, it blows those games away. It do. Now the consoles from the past, like the Super Nintendo, like the TurboGrafx, the Panasonic 3DO, the Atari Jaguar, the TurboGrafx, the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, Sega Saturn, PlayStation 1, Neo Geo cartridge and CDs. Those consoles, they were stepping stone. The GameCube, the PS2, the Dreamcast, the 360 and the PS3. Those consoles, they were stepping stone. They were stepping stones. They were teaching tools, so developers can hone their skills. So when they got up to the PS4, the Xbox One, and the Xbox One and the Xbox Series X and S, it's time to put their talents on full display. Those consoles from the PS3 on back, they were teaching tools, on how to do game development. But once they got to the PS4, Xbox One, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, it's time to put those skills on full display. So, and now we're in the open world environment. So, open world games, they're not stale and they're not boring and they're not dry. It's just that, modern open world games are the best. They just are, and there's more you can do. There's a new play style, new play mechanics, and you can always add to the story and stuff like that. So yeah, which when you add to the story, then you got to add new play mechanics that comes with that story. So yeah, modern open world games are the best, man. And for the people that are trying to say that modern games are not modern open world games are no good. These people, they don't understand video games. They don't understand game development. They don't understand that these consoles, the console from the PlayStation 3 on back, were teaching development tools for video games for developers to hone their skills. So when they got to today's console, it's time to put them on full display. They don't know that. They're just saying that they don't understand gaming. There's more to gaming, than just playing. I mean, playing is one part of it, but then you got to read up on stuff to see where games are, and when you read up on stuff, it improves your understanding of video games, because there's a lot of work that these developers, they put into these games, So yeah, modern games are the best, man. You know, the reason why most people are having problem with today's games is that their love for video games has run cold. Their love for video games has run cold. It has run dry, and you know they fell behind. You know, they got stuck in that mode, thinking that older games are better, and then like I think one YouTuber said modern games has no value, but that person doesn't understand that everything that you're trying to do in an older game, you can do it in a modern open world game and then some and a lot more. So modern open world games, man, they're the best, man. So yeah. And you know, people that play Fortnite will tell you, people that play Red Dead Redemption or Warzone or any open world game, they'll tell you that these games are better because there's a lot more that you can do. You know, so yeah, modern open world games are the best, man. They're not stale, they're not boring. Some games can be live service. Some games can be live service. Others can't. Others can't. You know. But a lot of these games, they need updates and expansions. You know, a lot of them are not done. You know, just because you release a game, that don't mean it's the final product. Because once the game come out, the base game comes out, you the developer know that you gotta add expansions and updates to that game to even like increase the value of that game. You know, because there's so much to add to these open world games. So modern open world games are the best, man. They're not stale, they're not boring, and they're not dry. It's just a lot of people love for video games has run cold, and that's what you're seeing. A lot of people love for video games have run cold, you know, because they don't read up on stuff, they don't complete their games. As soon as a new game come out, they're quick to tear it down, you know. I mean, they'll love to talk about microtransaction to sound like they know something, but besides that, man, it's like they're running cold when it comes to video games, man. So modern open world games are going to keep getting better as days, weeks, and months goes on. So yeah, they're gonna keep getting better and better. You know, every month, every week, every day, every week, every month, every year. You know, they will keep getting better because there's always new mechanics that you got to add to a game, to a modern open world games, that you cannot do in an older game. An older game, you're limited. You know, and then in an older game too, if you try to improve it and then run it on an older console, you're gonna run into limitations and all kind of problems. So yeah, modern games are better, man. So yeah, they're better and they're fun, you know. So people that are saying that modern games are stale and boring, their love for video games has run cold and dry. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Nice talking to you people again. Chris, the Star Wars Started Flag or Dark Side. Go. Peace.